Aloha, friends, and welcome to our little corner of the galaxy here in this dimensional space called EarthStar Spiritual Center in the United States of America. So thank you so much for joining us today for EarthStar Sundays at 11:11. And I am Dale Stacy. This beautiful woman to my right is Jeanne Stacy, and we are the Abbots of EarthStar Spiritual Center. And we have another beautiful goddess with us today, Miss Nicole Ackley. So thank you, Nicole, for joining us.
Hey, everybody.
And today's topic was requested by Nicole because, you know, when I say usually something about let us know if we can have a special topic that you're interested in. And Nicole brought this up a couple of weeks ago, and today we're able to make it happen. So thank you so much, Nicole, because Nicole is one of our EarthStar ministers. You've been doing this for, my goodness, many years. I think back in the early 2000s, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And went to all our shamanic mystery schools, and now you're doing all your wonderful spiritual work, living down by the coast. Of course, being a Pisces, very psychic and intuitive, you're down there with Grandmother Ocean. So thank you, Nicole, for being here and offering your unique expressions about the topic today.
And Nicole and Brandon were our helpers for many years before they ran off to the beach.
That's right. I know we teach them, we bought them books, and then they left us and went off. And now they're doing their own thing, almost like the hero journey. So now they're coming back.
Yeah, it's so nice to be with you guys. Thank you so much for having me and discussing this today. It should be a fun conversation.
Yes, it will. Okay, good. All right, so let's bring up some slides. Wait, where'd Nicole go? Wait, let me get to my slides. See how this works out. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so this is Sundays at 11:11. Cosmic Shaman and Aloha Consciousness. Today is April 26, 2026. If you can believe it's almost the end of April, goodness. And our topic today is feminine and masculine divine. And with Nicole and Dale and Jeanne. And we are EarthStar Spiritual Center. We are a multi-faith church for living Aloha. I've been doing this since 2002. So, and our core Aloha values are to the left. You see, it spells out Aloha. And that's all loving God, love, oneness, heart path, and as above, so below. So our focus then is planetary awareness to galactic consciousness. And I know that's a mouthful. And these are some of the topics that we discuss at Sundays at 11:11. You see the little clouds. Also, these are areas that if you want some personal support, we can do this in person or by telephone or video chat during the week. If you want to come by or make arrangements with us, set that appointment, and we certainly can help you with these topics. These are some of the books we've written to help you along your shamanic journey. These are available on Amazon, and also I have them in the show notes, the links. And our new music ministry, which we started just last month in March. So we're up to 6 songs now. Our goal is to do 1 song a week for the rest of 2026. And we release a new song every Monday at the high noon hour. So we do have the next song available tomorrow, and we'll release that around between 12 and 1 o'clock. And then we have a video on YouTube that'll go with that. And I'll post all that tomorrow when we do that.
And it's a really
yes, it's a goddess song.
A goddess song.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I know, very pretty. Good. And thank you to all the spirits and the helpers and the galactics who help make all this possible. Because even though we're doing the lyrics and the editing, it's this AI program that gives us these beautiful voices and music after we set the intention for that. So thank you so much for that, our friends in many dimensions. And also we do have a Earth Superpower class in person that will happen Sunday, May 17th. It'll be 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And so if you're interested in knowing what your Earth superpowers are and how you can live your cosmic destiny now, because who are you and why are you on Earth and how are you serving? And you see the $50 charge there. That's for folks who have had the class previously. And if you just want to take the class as a refresher and just come hang out, then that'll be your cost for that or donation.
One of my favorite classes.
Yes, wonderful class. And also want to make sure to remind you of our connection with Connecting Consciousness. This is a worldwide organization in over 100 countries, 100,000 members. It is free to be part of Connecting Consciousness with Simon Parks. He currently lives in England with his wife, Becky. He will be one of the organizations that will be helped to manage the humanitarian projects and all of the incredible quantum financial system funding that will be available for humanitarian projects throughout the world. EarthStar does have a $10 million project submitted to the organization for somewhere in Guilford County. And of course, we know that we could go anywhere else also, depending on how the Spirit speaks to us. So when you think about your humanitarian project, how do you currently serve and how will you serve, and what are your earth superpowers? So if you don't know the answers to that, then think about taking the class on May 17th. And of course, we know that our Pisces minister here, all about her intuition. We know that's where her power is. And then our SHAC principle, something that we try to cover each and every day. And that is smiles, hugs, acts of kindness, compliments, and kisses. So not only are you doing this to your outer world, but you're also doing this to yourself. You're smiling to yourself. You're hugging yourself. You're doing acts of kindness to yourself. You're complimenting yourself. And you're giving yourself inner kisses some way, somehow. And then in the outer world, make sure that you're able to do one of these things each and every day and allow people to do these things to you and for you. Okay? Our SHAC principles, making the world and making this planet aloha. Outstanding. Okay, so all these public service announcements are now finished, so we can move on to our topic at hand today. So this is Sundays at 11:11, Feminine and Masculine Divine. Now you may see the title and think that usually you hear that divine feminine and divine masculine. Well, the reason why I've titled it like this is because when I was doing the song that we'll put out tomorrow, a couple of weeks ago, and I was in my meditation while I'm doing my songwriting of the lyrics, I started out with divine feminine, and it was like the energy came in and says, no, do it the other way around. Do feminine divine, because we're all divine. So that's the default. So accent the feminine and masculine principles that is within everyone and allow that to be the first word. I said, okay, that works for me. So that's why we have feminine, masculine, divine. Okay. So our objectives today, just two, and we'll see if we can get through these two because we know we've got a Pisces with us, so we'll do our best. Okay. So the first one is define feminine and masculine divine, just in a regular 3D sense. And then our second objective is to discuss the mental and spiritual nature of the feminine and masculine divine. Okay. All right, so let's jump right into it then. So if we look at a basic, this could probably be a good dictionary, a good 3D definition of feminine, masculine, divine. And that's really two primary archetypes or complementary energies that live within every person, and this would be male and female, interdependence and balance between them. So you see the yin and yang symbol, and this would be a common representation of this feminine and masculine divine. And you see the opposite color dot that's right in part of that particular swirl. So we know that that opposite color dot represents the seed to allow these concepts and these archetypes to be together and to mix and match and combine. And that's who we are. So just at a 3D level. Now, Jeanne and Nicole, anything else on a 3D level definition you'd like to give for that? A 3D earth thing about, living in duality and what feminine, masculine, divine would mean to you?
To me, it means wholeness, living
Yes.
in your wholeness.
Yes, exactly. Yes. All right, very good. All right, now, why do we have this duality, this feminine and masculine essence about it? So let me help you understand this from the greater cosmic and shamanic viewpoints of who we are as humanity. Remember, as humans, we've been here a little over 200,000 years ago. And we know there's been many shows and topics about that, many books. So just think, 200,000 years ago, the human race appeared in its current form. And when we think about, and we've all heard about pole shift, and we hear sometimes about this 12 to 13,000 year cycle. Well, I've got a picture you see in the upper left there. Let me make that larger so you can see it. So look at the picture in the upper left, and we see that that's a 12 to 13 year cycle. Now you see the central galactic plane. You see that line going across the middle. Think about that being similar to our Earth's equator. And our Earth, our sun, we are spiraling along this line. Okay, it's really a figurative line. However, at this particular line is where we have the direct focus of the galactic, the center of the galaxy, right? So it'd be almost standing in the direct beam of a flashlight as opposed to standing off to the side. So you can see the sun, then we go below this line and then we go above this line, right? And if the sun's moving, that means we're moving. So we're spiraling below this line, we move above this line. And so every time that we're going below and above, those are 12 to 13,000 years that takes to happen. So we're above the galactic plane for 12 to 13,000 years. And then we go below the galactic plane for that same amount of time. Now, if we could turn this sideways, that means we would go to the left or right. Because remember, the picture is depicting the concept of using gravity, of using up and down as a description. But, you know, if you're floating in space, up and down really doesn't matter much. So if we were sideways looking at the galaxy, we were just moving left and right of this line. So regardless of how you view it, we're still spending about 12 to 13,000 years in a feminine divine perspective, the goddess perspective. And then we spend the next 12 to 13,000 years in the masculine or the God perspective. So when we look at that and combine that, knowing that we pretty much have a 75,000 year cycle for humans to learn and evolve and to have an opportunity to move to the next density or dimension, which in this case, we're near the end of that 75,000 year cycle. And in the raw material or the teachings of Ra, the law of one, we know that at the end of these 75,000 year cycles, we have an opportunity to move, in our case, into 4D. So we're coming to the end of that right now. So just think within 75,000 years, we have an opportunity to basically have 3 masculine cycles and 3 feminine cycles to help us to evolve and learn. So that would be the greater cosmic and shamanic sense of why we have male and female energies and the duality here in 3D. Now look at the bottom silhouette there. You see the man, woman, and child. Just thinking on a personal note, you know, when the sperm and the egg come together, you know, and the egg begins to develop, you are 50% of your father and you're 50% of your mother. So our physical essence is then we are both masculine and feminine, both feminine and masculine. Now, in the cosmic shamanic sense, it's really not 50% because the power of the feminine decides how much DNA, the percentage, will favor the mother's DNA or energy pattern and how much favors the dad. That's why children will look more like a father or look more like a mother, because the mother is the one that decides this percentage. So again, the power of the feminine. Don't know if you can look that up on Google to find out what I just said, but just know that's the cosmic and shamanic sense that we've learned from some of our wonderful teachers. Okay, another one of the great mystical and wonderful powers that women have that we've been shielded from. Okay. All right, so now let us get us back. All right, so that just gives a brief understanding of why we have male and female and why the duality exists. Because remember, when we get to 6th density or 6D, that is the density of unity. So this no longer exists at that point. There's no longer any duality about when we go probably through about a third of 6D. And that's where your higher self is, okay, according to Ra and the law of one. All right, let's go to the next one. Now that we know that. Okay, so now let's go to our second objective, and that is to understand the mental and spiritual aspects of feminine divine and the masculine divine. So let's start with the feminine divine first, just to give you a shamanic and cosmic perspective, and then Nicole and Jeanne will be able to add their wonderful wisdom to what we have. So go ahead, sweetheart. You can You want to read that, or can you see it?
So the feminine divine feminine is all about being, and that's being in the heart, being from the heart, being receptive, internal, creative, source of creation, formless potential, and nurturing the force of life. Some other traits are intuition, creativity, a big one for the divine feminine's creativity, nurturing, compassion, sensuality, and flow. And it's associated with water and the moon.
Yes. So all that fluidity and all those moon cycles, very important for the feminine energy. Okay, sweetheart, you want to go first? Do you want to go first, or let the Pisces go first?
Let the Pisces.
Okay, Pisces, let us have it. What do you think when you look at this slide? What would be your perspectives you could add to that?
Well, I loved how Jeanne mentioned creativity being such a powerful feminine, divine feminine potential, right?
Yes.
We have so much opportunity for creation, not just in bringing life, but bringing life to things, right? As women, when we're given something, we take that and we amplify it. And I think, you know, when we realize the power that we have, which is why I wanted to have this topic and talk about this, is the possibilities are limitless. You can truly do anything. You can create anything. So I think understanding that we have this divine power and harnessing it, learning how to use it is so important.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Love, what do you think?
Well, let me just say first that the divine feminine, the feminine divine, has been seen in ancient cultures forever.
Mm-hmm.
And other names that you might have heard, which would refer back to the divine feminine, would be the goddess energy, the earth mother, and also the sacred feminine. And it's a spiritual energy. And when Nicole was talking about the creativity, that is huge when it comes to the goddess energy and the feminine energy, or whatever you prefer to call it, because it's out of. I have my notes. They never have notes. Yeah. I have notes.
Jeanne's got her script.
Yes.
You know, Pisces and Sagittarius, we just go on, right?
They talk off their heads in other places, but not me. So it's that letting that process flow naturally, and there's no force, there's no resistance to it. It's just flowing naturally, and it's about letting ideas grow naturally. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just flows, and we do it without following rules, and it just produces something that's very good.
Yes.
Very good.
All right, thank you, love. Good. Okay, let me fix my slide here. What happened to my silence? Okay. And then Nicole, anything else about that particular essence, the feminine divine that comes up for you, especially anything about this creativity, since the feminine aspect, I mean, the fact that you create life within you, you have the tools, the mechanisms to do that. It's just amazing, the energy that you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it truly is amazing, the energy that you have, and just really understanding that and learning to work with it. You know, there's so much opportunity for your own balance and your own wholeness when you embrace both of these aspects and archetypes. You know, it really is about wholeness and balance and expansion. And I think once you're able to see the power in it, it's just limitless.
Yes. Okay. And and to think that the feminine divine that's living in a spherical type environment, spiritually and physically. So when we think about the feminine divine, the males, we're very linear in our approach to things because that's how we're geared, right? And whereas the feminine divine, you're geared for this roundness, right? This spherical living. So, I mean, to think, going back to the basics of human life, just think it's a single egg. And from that egg develops all these little people come out. I mean, it's just amazing at what goes on inside that little sphere. And that sphere is the beginning of all life, human life here on Mother Earth. And to think that Mother Earth herself is round, right? I mean, a round planet. So here we have that spherical energy all about us. And matter of fact, when we look at the sun, it's round. All the planets are round. So it's like this wonderful, creative, internal, and receptive energy from the feminine divine is in all these wonderful cosmic and physical things in our lives. And yet, because of the current cycle, of course, we just ended the male cycle in 2012. So we're just now in the beginning of the feminine divine cycle for us now. So, we're just starting to pick that back up again. And like Jeanne said, that's why the so-called goddess energy is now emerging, coming out in books and talks and meditations. And, when we look at a lot of the Old Testament references in the Bible, a lot of those places where they were told to tear down the poles and things like that. Well, that's because that was the goddess culture at the time. So they were trying to make that particular religion or that particular essence strictly a male service instead of allowing it to have both the feminine divine and feminine masculine. Outstanding. Okay.
It's so interesting because there's so much wisdom in the divine, the feminine divine and the sacred feminine, and to have suppressed that is a suppression of life itself, truly, right? And the way that we counterpart and balance each other from male to female, just in physical form and the duality. So it's really interesting to hear the concepts of the reawakening of the feminine. And we've been hearing this since the shift, right? It's very common for people now. So it really is interesting.
Yes, it is. And so glad you goddesses are here to teach us and show us the way. I mean, so wonderful. All right, so anything else on feminine divine that comes to heart that you want to share? Make sure that word gets out. Because I know Jeanne mentioned, big thing about creation, because, the feminine divine creates out of nothing. Right? I mean, that's the amazing thing. Guys, we'll get into that in a minute. But, the masculine, we have to have things, but the creative feminine divine simply creates from the heart. So.
Let's look at the word receptive. When I saw that come up, I was thinking, okay, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but then I did some research and what it means when we're talking about the goddess is to receive downloads. And I know that Nicole is really, really intuitive. So you get downloads all the time. But it's that reception of downloads in the stillness of time. And it's our reconnection to source. Mm-hmm. So I like that word receptive. I thought that was important. So I thought a lot of people
exactly. And to the light codes, things being activated within our DNA, the receptivity is such an important piece to that. And to aligning and tuning into that.
Yes. And again, key in on the feminine divine. Remember that this is the source of creation. The Merkaba classes we've had and that we teach, when we open up this Merkaba again, that everybody has the potential to open, you are actually in the sacred space of the heart, the tiny space of the heart. And this is the place of creation. And this is the place of the feminine divine. Now, the masculine divine is out there also, but, we have a different role. We're not actually the source of the creation. So think of that as, the role that men have in the physical sense of creating another human being, a baby, right? We have our role, but it is within the feminine form that this creation takes place and this creation grows, and then it is able to come out into the world. So the feminine divine is definitely the source of creation. And the big way to be there is to be in your heart. So when you're trying to create things in your life here, things you want to manifest, your special abilities or gifts or goals or superpowers, things that you want to do in this lifetime, begin to create from the heart, because that way you have the total freedom of infinity the eternal nature of all life, to begin to create things from that perspective, instead of looking around for supplies, thinking what you can build with, right? That's the male way. So the feminine way is to create from nothing. And look what happens, because remember, in the Tao sense, nothing is everything. So think about creating from the heart instead of just the mind. Okay? Anything come to mind for y'all when you think about, because I know for you, it's innate. You've done this since birth. You've created things from your heart always. And so when it comes down to trying to explain that in 3D sense, well, it's such a habit for you, because you know how to do this all the time. But as we think of it right now, is there anything that comes up about how you're able just to create from nothing? How does that work from your sense? Do you know?
Jeannie, you want to go first?
No, you go first.
For me, I think, like you said, especially as you continue to practice shamanism and just living in aloha and coming from the heart, it is such a natural process. But I think the most important thing is truly deciding, what it is you want. Who do you want to become? Who are you? And from that place, you can create the life that you want, the relationships that you want, the circumstances that you want, and you can be the fullest expression of yourself. And that's what this is about for me. I know, my journey in this life is about self-mastery and becoming the fullest expression, the wholest version that I can be, to give that back to the divine. And that's how I see this existence. So that's my purpose in creating from the heart and creation.
Yes, exactly.
And I think it's about, too, seeing the beauty in everything.
And that's your superpower.
Yes. Yeah. Got to make things pretty.
That's right.
And Nicole, see what you just said then about creating about who you want to be and what you want to do and all that. So that is essence. You're creating out of nothing. That just comes out from the heart. And it's not like you had to make a plan or a blueprint to decide, well, who do I want to be? What I want to do? Am I going to make a vision board, or am I going to make a cosmic board? No, it just comes out from within. And that's what we mean by when we create from nothing, we're actually saying we're creating from everything. And that's exactly what you just said. So thank you very much for that. All right, wonderful. I didn't think we'd have time to go this deep, but yeah, y'all are deep. Wonderful. Thanks for letting me jump in the pool with y'all.
Can I add one more word to our little aspects up there? And it would be collaboration.
Yes.
I think that the goddess energy, the divine feminine, divine collaboration is huge, because we want to form and foster community. Mm-hmm. Rather than being separate. And I had something, over competition. That was the word. Collaboration, fostering community. And another one that's not on the slide, but I think it's huge, is caretaking. Yeah. And it's not just caretaking when somebody's sick. It's caretaking, like if you see somebody who's alone, bring them in, sit with them, whatever. So it's just making people feel welcome, I think, is another one that, as I was researching, kind of stuck with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead, Nicole.
True compassion,
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And exactly. Because, in nature, just think probably 95%, of animals in nature, it's the female species that builds the nest. And that's exactly what y'all do. You build the nest, or you create that table, and you allow everyone to be invited and come into that table. And when we have too many people, the way you have your creative power, you simply make the nest bigger. You make the table bigger. So everybody has a place in the nest, and then they're just embraced. It's almost like you're in the womb of all that love and aloha. And that's what you do, And now, guys, we may help build the nest, but we may get, sometimes we may not want everybody in there because maybe we don't like them, or maybe we got situations with people and we're failing to learn the lesson about those challenges. But you make this wonderful nest, and everyone truly is invited. And the thing is, you don't have to invite them. They know they're invited just because your open heart and your essence, your spirit. So thank you for that and what you do for humanity. All right, outstanding. Okay, so feminine divine. All right, so let's go to the next one then. So this is masculine divine. Okay. Now, me being in the masculine sense this lifetime, I probably know, I think I know a little more about this particular essence as I'm learning to deal with the other one. Okay. So when we look at masculine divine, sweetheart, you want to read those off? Or?
All right, the masculine divine is about doing, and it's doing with the mind, whereas the feminine divine was being. And the masculine divine is active, external, plan, got to have a plan and structure, got to have boundaries, stability, protection in order to create safely. Also, logic, action, strength, focus, integrity, associated with fire, which he is, transformation, and the sun, which is light and heat.
So the big one then for the masculine divine, of course, is the protection, because remember, that's how we have evolved. That's why the masculine energy, the males here, we have denser bones, we have bigger and stronger muscles. Usually we're larger in stature, because we're able to define and create that beautiful protective circle so that the feminine energy can create safely. We can't be in a state of chaos and always in survival mode because it takes away from our spiritual side of being able to thrive. So we want to move beyond surviving and moving to a state of thriving. So, when we think about the masculine divine and the way that we're built in this sense, remember, we're strong, we run fast, we're big. I mean, we basically hide behind a rock. Something walks by, we jump up with a big stick, we kill it, and we drag it back to the cave. That's what we do. We're very singular in our focus about that protection. We have that one singular thought. We're very linear in how we think, because remember, our essence is within the sphere of the feminine divine. Remember that the sperm cell, it goes into the round spherical egg, and that's where life then begins to grow and evolve. So we had to come from the outside to enter the egg. So same thing with our spiritual and mental perspectives. We're on that outside part, providing that protection in our own way. Now, protection, that's done mentally, physically, and spiritually, even emotionally, psychologically, intellectually. That's what we do. Now, remember, we're not saying that women, the feminine, cannot do this, because you can, because keep in mind, we are both. Okay, remember that slide I had earlier? You're 50% of mom, 50% of dad. That means, and of course, the mom decides how much of each, but you're basically half masculine, half feminine. Okay? So we all have these qualities within us. All right, so when we think about doing, then that's the big thing. The male masculine mind is about doing, as opposed to the feminine mind of creating and being in the heart. So we're doing and being in the mind. So just think about all the wonderful thoughts that we have. I mean, from a male's viewpoint, we may love beautiful women, right? And then we love women who can cook, because that feeds our physical body. It helps us to maintain our protection. And we really love beautiful women who can cook. I mean, that's the magical combination. And just think, that may be our one thought throughout all of our existence physically. Whereas the feminine divine, you're going to have this one thought, but you live within the sphere. And that one thought now begins to multiply. And as it goes out, it bounces off that sphere, bounces right back. And now you have that thought multiplied 10 times. And then you have 100 thoughts a day. All those multiplied by 10 times. And all those are bouncing off the sphere all over the place like a rubber ball. And they bounce back to the core of your heart. So within a day, you may have 1 million thoughts going through your mind, through your heart. And the guys, we just got the two things. We like beautiful women, and we like women who cook, right? So we have this very singular focus, and our main focus is being that about protection, because that's what we're here. We're here to protect. We're here to work that plan. We're here to be active and external, and that's who we are, and that's what we do. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't access that other side of who we are, our mother's side of being the feminine divine, and we can. And that just goes along with life experiences and our evolution, not only as a male, but also as a female too. All right. Anything from y'all about the masculine divine?
I think for me, whenever I think about the masculine divine and a well-balanced masculine, you do think about somebody who's able to balance those counterparts, right? And truly embrace both aspects of who they are. But I think with the divine masculine too, when they're looking from that perspective to the feminine perspective of things, I think it can be hard because it is so ingrained and instilled in men, right? That this is the way you act, this is the way you are, this is the way you think, this is the way you perform. It can be a little bit of a challenge to really get into that deeper, some of those deeper parts of yourself.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Thank you.
And I think when we're in balance with the feminine divine and the masculine divine, and that is the place where that we're in love and we're in peace and we have our purpose, but we have to be in balance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing, because that truly is what we're supposed to do, I think.
That's the goal. That's the goal, right? You want to be fully expressed in both aspects because they're counterparts. You need both. You need the fullness of both. I know when I think about it from my perspective, I've always worked in a male dominant industry my entire life, and I've shifted many times, but it's always remained male dominant. And I was thinking about that in this conversation, but that is, because I can draw from those parts of me, I can be a feminine in a masculine environment, which has been, incredible for my journey to realize that. So when you think about things and you think about the creation of your life, think about how some of those things come into play.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And also I enjoyed the beauty from both sides, being able to see like the structure of something that's beautiful, and then yet being able to see the feminine side of it. And that's the flow, the magic of that beauty as it comes out. And that truly gives you a well-rounded aspect of what beauty is when you look at and really just look at everything from a masculine and feminine perspective. Because remember, those are our two dimensions. If nothing else, being bi-dimensional like that, we have these two aspects, dimensions within each of us. And we can use that wonderful perspective to relate to the wonderful harmony in life, just like you see the yin and yang symbol above. All right, anything else on masculine divine? Wonderful job. Well, thank you so much. You too. Let me give you an applause. Thank you so much. You did a great job today. I know it's an in-depth topic, and this could probably go on for an entire week.
We could probably talk about this every Sunday for a year.
Yes.
It's so deep.
So thank you so much for that. And so now let's get into our meditation time. And we want to, let me find my crawler here. Okay. And so when we think about going into our meditative side and thinking about things we're doing, let's look at our review first, and remember to define feminine and masculine divine. And the classic example would be the yin and yang symbol, right? Both of these symbols are within everyone, and we have the opposite color seed within everyone to remind them that we are both. And remember, 50% mom, 50% dad, and remember that we spend 12 to 13,000 years in our little spiral across the galactic plane in the feminine, and then another 12 to 13,000 years as the masculine. And whenever we come to those points of intersecting that galactic plane, that's when we have our so-called pole shifts. And we have great changes in humanity and who we are in our evolution. And then the mental and spiritual nature of the feminine and masculine divine, big differences there, or the complementary differences rather, would be that the feminine is about being, and and that is in the heart, and the masculine is about doing, and that is in the mind. So that's who we are. That's what we do. And both of these live within every single human. So isn't that wonderful we have that? All right, now let's take all this wonderful energy and move this into a nice meditative state. So if you will, just think about who you are, what you're doing. Let me get us back to some nice soft music to get us going. Soothing native music. So just allow yourself just to be relaxed. Think about the wonderful energy around you. Think about your mind, body, and spirit. Do a quick review, activation, energizing rather, of your chakras. Remember the rainbow colors, the red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, deep blue, violet or purple. And allow these wonderful colors to expand. And imagine a light tube connecting all these chakras, about the size of a fluorescent tube. And now allow that fluorescent tube to just fill with these beautiful colors. And then beginning to exude into your energy field so that you have this wonderful aloha bubble around you. And now just be present in this space. Nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Just be. Empty yourself of everything. Let the mind rest at peace. Returning to the source is stillness, which is the way of nature. A.L.O.H.A, Jeanne, Book 16. Now just take a deep breath. If you will, just take a look at the picture on the screen now. Our healing and prayer meditation. So allow the wonderful white light of the Christ to flow through you, the masculine divine, and also the pink light of the Lady of Magdalene. Allow that rose light to also flow through you, the divine or the feminine divine. And allow the mixture of these colors to flow into every part of your body, every cell, every strand of DNA, each and every atom, and every subatomic particle in the mind, body, and spirit. Be calm, be healed, be loved, be well. So let's listen to the light of Magdalene as you do your healing time, not only for you, but for others, your prayer time for you and others, and your meditation time. To be in mind, body, and spirit.
We started in Cana, the day we were wed, a love-filled union, many vows were said. I loved you and you loved me, Yeshua and Mary, blessed by God, for all to see. Many friends feasted celebrate this day. Our soul lights combine in one glorious ray. The white light of Christ filled everyone's soul, and with the rose light of Magdalene we felt whole. I am the rose light of Magdalene, God's light too. The light of your heart, so pure Life can be harsh, life can be good. Be strong in mind, release the could and should. Follow your heart, it will light your way, filling your life with beauty every single day. Keep your body sturdy, mindful of its needs, working with purpose, with all your deeds. I am the rose light of Magdala, God's light too, the light of your heart, so pure and true. God is within, be healed and be free. Listen to the light, feel it and see. Our spirit is one, let love fill your soul. The light of Magdala, be healed, be whole. Be calm, be healed, be loved, be well. Don't let life be defined from when you fell. Stand up, stand tall, there's more life to live. You are infinite, with much love to give. Be a child of God, know this is true. Be the light of Magdala, be the best you. I am the rose light of Magdala, God's light too, the light of your heart, so pure and true. God is within, be healed and be free. Listen to the light, feel it and see. Our spirit is one, let love fill your soul. The light of Magdala, be healed, be whole.
And now just stand in that peaceful space. Feel the energy, the light of Magdalene, the white light of the Christ, the feminine and masculine divine moving through your body, moving through your thought. Feel the Aloha consciousness within you. Feel your place living in Aloha. And then being in this wonderful state, just open your eyes very, very slowly. Allow yourself to just come back. Let's look at this, have this healing time. Allow the light of this Merkaba to flow through you, to accentuate the wonderful energies of the rose light of Magdala and the white light of the Christ, the feminine divine, the masculine divine. Use this for your personal healing as you see the little glints of the Merkaba. And the Merkaba is pure love, pure love. And I offer this prayer and blessing for you for today and the rest of your week. May the aloha that flows through all things move and flow through your mind, body, and spirit, thoughts, words, and deeds, with everyone, everything, everywhere, every time, place, and space, every endeavor, home, work, and play. And within all of your essence, planetary awareness, galactic consciousness. Always remember, you are a child of God. And if you want to move another dimensional aspect above that, or expanded from that, you and God are one. You are God, and God is you. God is us, and we are God. So be who you're here to be. Be the best you. And that's being the best loving you. Loving yourself, and loving others in our service, in our love. I ask with these wonderful blessings to be upon you in your healing, in your wellness, in your calm, balance, and harmony. We ask this in the name of Mother, Father, God that flows through all of us, all the time. Aloha, amen, and mama. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us today. Let me bring Nicole back on, if I can find her. All these buttons. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So thank you, Nicole, for being with us and offering your wonderful wisdom and perspectives about feminine divine and masculine divine. Thank you so much. And many blessings to that masculine divine husband of yours.
Thanks. Yes. Thank you. It's always nice to spend time with you too. So thank you.
One of our ministers and a shaman, Amanda Todd, choreographed a hula dance to Light of Magdala. That was our meditation song today. So if you haven't seen that, I mean, it is beautiful, and it is on Simply Shaman, and it's on Amanda's site, Redheaded Hula Girl. And she did a great job. Yes. And it's beautiful. So I hope all of you will take a moment out to try to find that and watch it. I
mean, from the dress, with the roses on the dress, to the environment and the sunlight coming through the trees. Oh my gosh, it's like a spotlight from heaven. So beautiful, beautiful interpretation and execution that she did. So thank you, Redheaded Hula Girl. Thank you so much. All right, good. All right, well, let me give you one more slide then, and we can let y'all go eat the Sunday dinner. All right, well, let's do our POW. You see our little POW slide. Remember, POW in Hawaiian means everything is all over, PAU. So on three, ready, 1, 2, 3, POW. Good. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much for the wonderful time you spent with us and sharing your heart and your mind. And we will talk soon. And remember, everyone out there in the galactic plane, remember, we want to be aloha in every moment, because that's who we are. And we are citizens of the galaxy, the universe, and we are definitely citizens of planet Aloha. So, hui ho, as the Hawaiians say, till we meet again. All right, here we go.